Good Friday, everyone. Thanks for stopping by Garden State Weather and gardenstateweather.blogspot.com, providing superior forecasting for the northern mid-Atlantic region 24 hours a day. This is forecaster Robert Smith with the daily video forecast discussion for Friday and the weekend, and it's looking like a fine one indeed. This is for Friday, the 11th of April, 2014. And we'll start the day with the visible satellite imagery this morning as the sun's coming up. Plenty of mid and upper level cloud cover moving into the region. This is the visible satellite imagery. The water vapor imagery, or actually the IR infrared imagery this morning, shows the middle layer warm cloud top spreading in ahead of a cold front, which is back in through central Pennsylvania, moving towards the southeast as the cloud deck begins to increase across the area. Here's our water vapor loop this morning showing the same kind of thing, with a plume of moisture just to the south and west. A few rain showers also getting in to central and eastern Pennsylvania this morning as well. Once again, at 7:15 this morning, as the satellite's passing off the region or over the region, we can find an enhancement to the clouds here, and the water vapor showing this too ahead of the warm front, or cold front rather. And here is some light precipitation reaching into northwestern New Jersey. Most of this probably not even reaching the ground. A better batch of this along the cold front itself, stretching back into Ohio and into portions of central western Pennsylvania this morning. And all of this moisture will be heading to the north and east. Some of this moisture will get in here with some light rain late this afternoon into this evening as the front begins to stall down to the south, just passing the Delmarva area by midnight or so during tonight. Surface observations showing the south to southwesterly flow ahead of the cold front this morning, with temperatures already responding into the 50s across the entire forecast region, just about touching 50 or so in New York City and Long Island, also into southern Connecticut. Temperatures will be rising ahead of the cold front, but more cloud cover will be expected during today. Watches, warnings, and advisories. We have small craft advisories for the coastal waters from New Jersey down through the ocean waters of Delaware. In our forecasting region today for south to southwest winds at about 10 to 20 knots, and possibly gusting up to about 25 knots, with average seas between 3 to 6 feet. For the aviational weather deck, we're starting things out with temperatures in the 50s and basically VFR conditions across the region. Newark Airport 55, humidity is 51%, the wind is southwest at 9, gust up to 18 miles per hour. We have overcast conditions at 25,000, broken ceilings at 16,000, and a few clouds at 12,000. The altimeter 29.99 inches, a few clouds during this morning, then basically overcast conditions at 3,500 with some scattered clouds, overcast conditions, and a little bit of light rain getting in here late this afternoon through early this evening. And the winds will be light and variable, shifting around and then becoming westerly or northwesterly during tomorrow morning. They'll be variable and light in direction at speeds under 10 knots or so. Visibility is better than 5 to 10 miles, maybe a little bit lower than 5 miles, and some light rain and mist across the region late this afternoon and evening. And then ceilings improving with scattered clouds to 25,000 feet tomorrow morning just before daybreak, with the wind shifting around light and variable to the northeast at about 10 knots. Visibility is improving to better than 10 miles. VFR conditions. Now for Philadelphia, same kind of thing. We have overcast conditions currently, 59 degrees, humidity 48%. Visibility is at 10 miles. The wind is out of the southwest at about 10 miles per hour. And we have broken ceilings at 14,000, and again at 20,000, and broken at 25,000 too. Light rain showers in the vicinity late this afternoon. Overcast conditions at about 5,000 feet. Southwest winds at 10, gusting to 18 knots. And light rain showers in the vicinity early this afternoon and evening as well, before the wind shift around to the northwest at speeds under 10 knots. Light rain showers break off with visibilities improving late this evening and overnight tonight. A light rain shower early this evening, and then skies improve by after midnight, with broken ceilings becoming scattered to 5,000 feet tomorrow morning, with visibility is better than 10 miles, and VFR conditions. Our streamlined analysis shows this very well, with the southwesterly flow a little bit gusty along the south shores of New Jersey and Delaware this morning, as we find low-level moisture also increasing in the southwesterly flow over cooler ocean, with temperatures in the 40s, and the land's already beginning to warm up nicely into the 50s. Here is our delineating cold front snaking through central Pennsylvania down through Ohio, with another wave of weak low pressure developing here on the southern flank. This front will, on the northern edge, will become stalled across the region during tonight and then return as a warm front by tomorrow night and Sunday. And there could be some some stratus clouds and some fog, and we'll get into that in just a moment. Latest surface map from weatherroanoke.com, a digital atmosphere software as of about within the last 30 minutes or so. Here is our frontal system, which is kind of stalling out as a wave of low pressure brings some rain into the Ohio Valley this morning. This cold front is slinking south and will pass through the region during this afternoon and evening and weaken as it does so, but there'll be a wave of moisture moving along it late this afternoon and evening. Most of this will be in the light rain shower activity. There could be a spotty low-topped elevated thunderstorm. But right now, most of the radar data and also the information coming in from lightning data doesn't really support too much as it's transporting its energy towards the east this afternoon. Meanwhile, another wave here on the southern flank of this developing over Oklahoma, and this front will become stalled out, return as a warm front, and that means warmer weather is on the way with nice and pleasant conditions during this weekend. Here's some climate data for you. A few dates. Last time it reached 70 degrees in any of the following locations: in Allentown, Reading, Trenton, Philadelphia, Wilmington, Delaware, Atlantic City, and Georgetown. Basically November 1st and 2nd of last year. Wilmington, Delaware reached 70 on December 22nd of last year, and Atlantic City also at the same day. And the last town, Georgetown, Delaware, had a temperature of 70 was just a couple of weeks ago on March 22nd. Now, this is the first time that we may actually see temperatures around the Philadelphia, Wilmington, Atlantic City area. Well, maybe just Philadelphia and Wilmington, certainly not Atlantic City during the next 24 hours. But that may change over the weekend as temperatures approach and exceed 70 in a few spots. Latest NAMWRF composite simulated radar and reflectivity and cloud product from Penn State's eWall site shows the mid and high level clouds approaching as the front approaches this afternoon. Most of the energy weakens and scatters itself out, and that little pool of moisture that was over the Ohio River Valley now getting into central and northern Pennsylvania during this afternoon, racing ahead of the cold front as it drops through the region. There could be some enhancement to some of this rainfall coming in late tonight, just before midnight, and as that does so, it could be a low-top thunderstorm, basically a quarter to a third of an inch of precipitation as that moves through. Then skies break for clearing during tomorrow morning. Sunrise looks good, and so does the temperatures as they respond nicely tomorrow in the 60s and lower 70s, and the wind shift into the northwest. But we still have an upper wave of low pressure or upper trough to move through, maybe a jet max. That will include mid and high level clouds during late tomorrow morning into the early afternoon, but most of the day just going to be partly sunny, partly to mostly sunny across the region. Now this is where things get interesting. As the high pressure moves off the coast, a warm front moves through the region during the early morning hours on Sunday, and as it does so, just before it makes its way through to the north during Sunday, an onshore flow will develop stratus right along the immediate coast while the interior sections are clear at sunrise on Sunday. So could be a lot more stratus and low cloud. Even a little bit of drizzle is out. It's not out of the question in this onshore flow right along the coastal waters, and also this will help to keep temperatures on the cooler side during the weekend right along the immediate coast, which will be slower to warm up and also have that prevailing southwesterly flow of the cooler air from off the ocean returning as the warm front lifts to the north. Now, interior sections could see a spotty rain shower too on Sunday morning as the warm front moves through. It's going to be isolated in nature, and then the skies break for lots of sunshine and very warm conditions on Sunday afternoon. The pollen is very high too. Tree and mold pollen is very high this weekend, especially now through Sunday, and allergy sufferers will continue to feel the wrath of this as the blooms continue to come forth. And we can see by Sunday afternoon, even the NAM model wants to hold on to a little bit of the stratus and also some drizzle right along the immediate coast and south shore and east ends of Long Island into Connecticut. We'll have to see just how much of this hangs around, but interior locations will warm up nicely with lots of sunshine. GFS maps into motion now, and we can find basically the cold front moving through, weakening and stalling out a little bit. Wave of low pressure moving along it. That's our period of rain from late this afternoon into this evening, maybe a quarter to a third of an inch, maybe an isolated low top thunderstorm over interior sections. Outside of that, that gets out of here. Skies clear out nicely for Saturday. Notice the heights here are pretty warm. We still have a relatively fast zonal flow. Less meridional, but the meridional flow or meridional flow will increase itself over the forecast region early next week. Warm front moves through, some fog, along the coast on Saturday night, Sunday morning, also again on Sunday night and Monday morning, with very mild conditions except cooler along the immediate coastlines and south shore and east ends of Long Island. Interior sections warming up nicely to above average, maybe over 70 in a few spots. And then we find a trough in the means developing across the Central Plains. Wave of low pressure also in the Central Plains begins to deepen as it moves towards the St. Lawrence River Valley. The trough actually begins to sharpen up quite a bit throughout the central states, and it sends the energy off into Atlantic Canada, or southeastern Canada rather, the St. Lawrence River Valley. But the front and trough axis will be parallel. The wind flow will be parallel at all levels, so everything begins to slow up and rain breaks out across the region as southern stream energy and Gulf of Mexico moisture is tapped into Tuesday right now as the front aligns itself just over the Appalachian Mountains. Inflow from off the ocean, low level and upper level jet maxes moving through the region, and this area of surface wave along the front will increase the chances of moderate to heavy pockets of rain around here on Tuesday morning through Tuesday afternoon. The good thing is that most of this gets out of here. Not looking at any major river flooding at this time, but poor drainage area flooding and minor street and urban and highway flooding is a possibility. We could have better than 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, locally heavy at times in these areas here, and possibly even some convective rainfall as well, which would enhance the rainfall totals across the region. And of course, we'll monitor that as we get into the forecast period. And high pressure builds in across the region again early next week, sets up an onshore flow later in the week, dry conditions, seasonably cooler temperatures back into the 50s to around 60 where they should be right now for this time of the year. And then we wait for the next system to bundle its energy here from off the Pacific, and a very active subtropical jet stream. We're getting into a pattern here. We're going to wax and wane in between precipitation events. So that's a wrap for this week for Garden State Weather and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com. I'm forecaster Robert Smith. Remember that some people, most people actually, are otherwise, but you, my friends, are weather-wise. Check out all the latest weather information, of course, on both websites, Garden State Weather and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, 24 hours a day for updated forecast details and information. I'll be back on Monday morning with detailed video forecast discussions, including the Wet Tuesday coming up next week. But enjoy this weekend. Get out and enjoy.